Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be presenting to you one more time the plan that is going as we speak, is actually being executed, and that is a plan of Kalergi's plan. We're gonna go back to this topic very briefly, as well as I'm going to present to you some very, very interesting videos about a daughter of someone who is the minister in Israel, who is taking care of the West Bank to make sure that it will be absolutely dominated by Israel. What happened to this daughter in her childhood, and where is she now? We're gonna also look into Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of not Defense but War, who is pretty much losing the grip with the current situation at this moment. But I want to start with something that is a reminder and is the most important thing. Why this war with Iran is taking place, why this is happening. So I will give you very quickly the answer, because that answer has been given many times through many videos on internet, as well as on my channel. And in the last 5 months, almost, I would say. So I will go into it in a moment, but before, as always, I want to say huge thank you to, let me scroll down, to Martin, John, and Fred for your donations on PayPal, and to another John for donation or ordering my book. That means a lot to me. All your support, guys, is very appreciated. So let's start with this very short clip first, and then we go to another one, and then I give you my commentary on all of this. Let's start with the Kalergi plan.
Very clear that the Jews want to exterminate the European race. Richard Coudenhove Kalergi, who is the father of the European Union and who was funded by the Jewish bankers Rothschild and Warburg. Now, this man wrote a book called Praktischer Idealismus in 1925, in which he stated that the Jews are a master race and that the Jews can only assume the throne of rule over the world by weakening the European race, and that the means to weakening the European race would be to dissolve all the European nations, destroy all their cultural heritage and their national traditions, and replace that with the European Union, and then to invite in Africans, Middle Easterners, and Asians to dilute the blood of Europeans through miscegenation to the point where they became a degenerate mixed race. And then at that point, these people would no longer have any sense of nationhood, and the ancient Jewish messianic prophecies of world rule out of Jerusalem, with Jews maintaining their nationhood and their national status, it would fulfill the Jewish messianic prophecies that the Jews could then rule the world. And this was completely in line with what Nikolai had written in 1917 and has manifested itself recently with the invasion of immigrants from Africa, from the Middle East, and from Asia into Europe, America, and Australia. And they are deliberately setting about to genocide the white race and destroy all sense of nationhood and of national heritage and national culture in each of our very clear.
So I've mentioned this before once on my channel. Well, actually, I've mentioned this many times, but I've dedicated one video, and I will find that video from my channel and put the link down and below in the description box for you. Now, let's take a listen to this rabbi, okay? And then I give you my few cents. Let me find this video, so just bear with me, guys.
What is going to happen next? One of the ways of bringing about the collapse of a nation is by bringing about the collapse of its economy. Another way is by sending it to war. A nation can disappear, a nation can lose its glory from war. That is how it happened in the past. The Babylonians, the Persians, the Romans were never destroyed because the Romans split up into many countries. There's a Mashiach ben David who rebuilds the temple, who is the king, but there is a leader called Mashiach ben Yosef who will fight Edom. Who is Rome today? Europe and the United States. Rabbis tell us that before Mashiach comes, there will be many wars. And these wars will eventually bring about the collapse of Edom. Not only the economy will be in ruins, but many people will lose their life as a result of this war. Do you have any idea how many people lost their life in World War II? People know 6 million Jews. Do you know how many Russians? I think 20 million. How many Americans? I don't want to even tell you how many Germans. I think 50 million people is the estimate of how many died in World War II. And you know this World War II that will be child's play compared to a third war that will occur later on. And that third World War, or major war, that will be the beginning of the redemption when that occurs. Even though that is not clear to us how it will begin, unfortunately, some things are going to happen in this country too. Whatever happened to those who caused the trouble, brought so much misery over the Jewish people, there will be revenge. And all those goyim who brought about so much pain and suffering on the Jewish people will be punished. Every square inch of Europe is drenched with Jewish blood. So I'm not envious of anybody living in Europe at this time. That is not a good place to be. Just about everywhere in Europe where Jews lived, they were either tortured, killed, or expelled. The war of Gog Magog is the last war. It's the final war. And that is a war against the Jews alone. That is a war where all the nations will gang up on us. And why will they gang up on us? They will gang up to take away Yerushalayim from us. And according to our tradition, this will happen after Mashiach ben Yosef has already arrived. And in the process of him ruling Eretz Israel, they will all come against us. So we don't have any friends. So even though right now America appears to be on our side, it doesn't appear that they will be for too long. Of the entire world's population, 2/3 will disappear. And when we say that, we mean everyone, even amongst us. Many Jews will not support Yerushalayim. They will actually join the enemy, the Zohar says. They will join Gog and Magog and fight with them against us.
All right, so who is this guy? Let's read the description here. A lecture by Rabbi Kin. This is from May 2008 about where the world is headed, as predicted by the prophets, as further elaborated in the Talmud and in the Kabbalah. Don't you think this is just perfectly aligned with Kalergi's plan? Because it is. So now, before we go, actually, let's go to the next video now, guys. Let's go to this one.
Listen to this one.
This is about the timing of the sacrifice, the timing about the beginning of this conflict with Iran, and the sacrifice of those children at school. So let's take a listen here. Officially, Rabbi is saying this in the studio on one of the TV channels.
Rabbi tell you why we went to war with Iran. It's not because of their short-range ballistic missiles or their nuclear weapons program. It's because it's the 2300-year anniversary of Purim, which is the demonic celebration of the massacre of women and children, much like we're seeing today all over the fucking Middle East.
Rabbi, there's definitely going to be a regime change, but I got to say, today, 2,300 years ago, the entire Iran negative people were wiped out, and therefore we give presents. In the name of Purim and everybody of the Nightcap crew.
Oh,
Happy Purim.
Look at this. So there'll be a toast after, a genuine one. Sharon, thank you, Rabbi. That's very kind.
All right, so comments from me. This is really, for me, just a few months ago when I started to see much bigger picture of all of those events. That's why I have created so many videos, guys, and I'm not bragging. Trust me, I am actually losing interest in all of this because this is very low frequency topic or topics. Because all roads lead to, you say Rome? Well, kind of, because at the end of the day, it's a very simple picture. You have this movement, Chabad Lubavitch movement, that purely is worshipping you know who, I don't have to say. And they are very influential all around the world. And people in power across the world are being monitored, controlled, advised, or rather told what to do, what not to do, because this is something that, you know, it's so easy really to, when you think about it. They own the media, they own the banking system, they own the big pharma, they own pretty much anything that is this kind of structure that has been created, financial, education, health, or I would say sickness rather. But those are the people who pull the strings. And their vision is, as in it was in Kalergi's plan, who, as I've learned a few months ago, was the one who was the father, who had the idea. I don't know if it was his idea or he received it from, you know, Satan or God knows who, to create the European Union, because European Union is destroying Europe. And why is this important? Because you see how this plan is being right now executed. You have Trump, his family, Ivanka and Jared Kushner, who are part of Chabad Lubavitch. You have many people in Trump's cabinet. Let's just say two names here. I'm saying this over and over again so people can do their own research. You have Howard Lutnick, a big-time liar, Jeffrey Epstein, I don't know, friend, or, you know, they hang out, okay? They used to hang out a lot, not just once in the apartment. You have Steve Witkoff, the special envoy. Like, what is this position really? Special envoy. And you have all those trips, for example, to Moscow and meeting with Putin, because Putin also has the Rabbi Lazar, who represents Chabad Lubavitch. So does Zelensky. I don't remember the name of the rabbi who is in Ukraine, but Zelensky is one of them as well. So now you ask yourself why this war with Ukraine is going on for so long, why it's not finished, why, you know, one says that they have this special military operation, another one says that Putin attacked us. They both know exactly what's going on, because throughout this conflict, not only the white race is being sacrificed from both sides, the land is being cleaned up for the new settlers, or the returning ones, I should say rather. And at the same time, maybe the most importantly, the West is being weakened, much so, very much so, weakened by this conflict. And you will say, yes, Anya, but you know, that was Ursula von der Leyen, and it was all those decisions from those governments. Yes, because, you know, aware of it or not, trust me, most of them are very much aware what they should do to destroy Europe. Do you think Macron really cares about France? Another Mason, right? Freemason? And we can look into this, and especially Ursula the Witch, right? World Economic Forum. Even Klaus Schwab himself said that there were many young leaders who he is proud of, you know, including Putin. And I used to think that Putin was just there to kind of see what's going on behind the curtain, but now I completely understand what's going on. So that is the plan. Now we look into Iran, and it's very important because not only this is going to create the financial struggle and an economical challenge for Europe as well, for the West, okay? But it's also going to bring much more migration to Europe and other parts over there to affect that those countries. Not to even mention the obvious thing that you're going to see probably troops being sent there. I mean, they are already dying, right? They don't give you the right numbers. We're going to listen to Hegseth in a moment. But the level of sacrifice is already there, and it's going to be, in my opinion, on bigger scale. How much bigger? I don't know. But this is the plan, and it's crazy as this sounds. It really is, because even they said it, even the Department of War, you know, those generals who were sending, they were emailing or they were announcing to the soldiers that this is for the Jesus, this battle is for Jesus, that Trump is anointed by Jesus, you know, or Paula White, right? He's crazy, lunatic pastor. So that is the reason for the conflict in Iran. People think it's about oil, it's about because Iran doesn't have the Rothschilds bank. I actually think there could be a fraction. I think even Iran could be part of this as well. I know it sounds crazy, but I think we are really watching some master plan, as Jared Kushner said. This is master plan. This is their master plan that has been in the making for hundreds and hundreds of years. So now let's go to Hegseth, who is literally losing his patience very much.
Because you, and I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard, it's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump, because you want him not to be successful so bad, you have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes. You have to hope maybe they weren't effective. Maybe the way the Trump administration has represented them isn't true. So let's take half-truths, spun information, leaked information, and then spin it in every way we can to try to cause doubt and manipulate the public mind over whether or not our brave pilots were successful. How many stories have been written about how hard it is to, I don't know, fly a plane for 36 hours? Has MSNBC done that story? Has Fox? Have we done the story how hard that is? Have we done it 2 or 3 times so that American people understand? How about how difficult it is to shoot a drone from an F-15 or 16 or F-22 or F-35? Or what it's like to man a Patriot battery? Or how hard it is to refuel midair? Giving the American people an understanding of how complex and sophisticated this mission really was. There are so many aspects of what our brave men and women did that because of the hatred of this press corps are undermined, because your people are trying to leak and spin that it wasn't successful. It's irresponsible. And folks in this room are privy to that information because of the proximity here in the Pentagon. It's an important responsibility. And time again, classified information is leaked or peddled for political purposes to try to make the president look bad. And what's really happening is you're undermining the success of incredible B-2 pilots and incredible F-35 pilots and incredible refuelers and incredible air defenders who accomplished their mission, set back a nuclear program in ways that other presidents would have dreamed. How about we celebrate that? How about we talk about how special America is, that only we have these capabilities? I think it's too much to ask, unfortunately, for the fake news. So we're used to that. But we also have an opportunity to stand at the podium and read the truth of what's really happening. And the reality is, you want to call it destroyed, you want to call it defeated, you want to call it obliterated, choose your word. This was an historically successful attack, and we should celebrate it as Americans. And it gives us a chance to have peace, chance to have a deal, and an opportunity to prevent a nuclear Iran, which is something President Trump talked about for 20 years.
So did he, that was an older video, right? But did they prevent this nuclear Iran? It was so successful. There is something very, very unsettling about this guy. I don't know how you feel about him, but I feel there is something almost like he has to be in some form of structure and discipline, because otherwise, when he's unleashed, I think something could go really, really off. I don't know. I just feel this guy could be pretty wild. That's just my opinion. The energy doesn't lie. So how many American soldiers have died at this point? Are we going to hear the truth, guys? And this is just the beginning. Let's look into the place that is very important for Israel, and that is the West Bank. Let me find the video for you. 2 videos from that West Bank area, because after that, you will see why I'm showing this to you. Here you see the IDF set a Palestinian teenager on fire in Ramallah, West Bank. This was posted yesterday. I don't know how old is this, but that's how they are removing people from that region, doing all sorts of things. You see? Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Now, another video, which really, when you look at this, you think to yourself, let me just find it, guys. And I want to play it with the sound. This is one of the people who lives in Jordan Valley. They are being affected there as well. But you see, those kind of people, they always suffer the most, because what they have left, who is protecting them? I think only God can protect them. Let's take a listen, because you're not going to understand, they are not really talking. You're just going to hear him crying pretty much. But this is the human moment, this is what we need to feel. We need to feel compassion for people, because once we stop feeling anything, we're done completely. Sorry, guys, I'm having challenges with the Windows here because my computer is blocked a little bit. Okay, let's play it. I think I cannot play it. Sorry for that. Really, really apologies. Okay. And that, everyone, is human suffering, truly is human suffering. Now, I want to take you to a video. First, I'm going to read you this, because this is pretty interesting story. Where is she? One moment. Here she is. Okay. So this is family, okay? This is the mother and this is the daughter. Daughter of Israeli settlement minister, this woman here wearing glasses is the settlement minister from Israel. This daughter was accusing her family of sexual ritual abuse. She was just found dead in her home, okay? So I'm gonna read you this and then we're gonna play original video. So this woman who's wearing glasses, she is responsible for, like you saw, you know, that man being on fire and that other guy, for example, like those kind of people being removed from the West Bank because that's her mission, that's her job. Shoshana Strook, that was the name of the daughter, 34 years old, the daughter of Israel's extremist minister of settlement and national missions. Orit Strook, that's the one, was found dead overnight at the rented home in the Aminim settlement and the upper occupied Galilee, according to Hebrew media reports. Authorities said her body was transferred to a forensic institute to determine the cause of death. Police has opened an investigation with initial reports suggesting suicide. Yeah, you know, that's always suicide. Through the circumstances surrounding her death remain unclear. Strook had previously drawn public attention after accusing members of her own family, including her mother, father, and brother, of sexual abuse and ritual exploitation during her childhood. I'm going to play this video after I read this for you with her statements. So let's I'm going to read what she's saying here. I grew up in a Jewish settlement in Hebron. Starting from age 2.5, my parents took me to pedophile ceremonies. In which I've been programmed, trained, using drugs, hypnosis, using sexual abuse. And basically, they have created in me different parts, different identities. When I was 13, my father started pimping me in Tel Aviv, made money off my back. The abuse continued until a much older age. Basically, what happened now is that even though I've already published it and told my story, my father keeps perpetrating against me. He came to my apartment. I've rented a place on my own. I stayed there alone. He came to the apartment and abused me again. He also brought another person with him who he is training to become my next handler, and after my father will pass away. Because this is how it works. They pass it from generation to generation. The abuse, the pimping, the sexual exploitation of kids, the sexual exploitation of women. Since the last assault, I left my apartment. I have no home. For now, I found few good people who are housing me, each for a couple of days. So this is, I believe this story, guys. I believe her story because, you can question everything, right? But I believe that's what's happened to her. Why I believe it? Because she's dead. I mean, is she dead for sure? Well, if she's dead, then she was telling the truth. So don't you see this is all connected? It's absolutely all connected, and there is literally no justice at all. It's this war with Iran is not about covering up Epstein files. It's not about that. It's about this demonic plan how to bring the Messiah back. They are that crazy. That's how they literally think, and that's how they operate. And any form of sacrifice is, in their opinion, speeding up the process. This is normal to them. This is actually required for them. They need this to happen in order for the plan to come true. And many of you know what I'm talking about. Some of you don't. Please do your own research. It wasn't easy for me to come to this level of understanding and open up my mind. You know, I think it takes a little, I wouldn't say little, it takes some courage, okay, to change your opinion on the platform which in the last several years was built on, for example, trusting Putin. But you cannot unsee what you see, because it's pretty much there. It's obvious when the Rabbi Lazar, who represents Chabad Lubavitch in Russia, is being rewarded with medals and orders in Russia. And I don't have this prepared for you now, but I recorded a video. So please go back to the older videos and find it and watch it. They are being acknowledged. They are being, very important. They receive awards and admiration. This is the same satanic cult that was sacrificing or doing some crazy stuff in those tunnels in Brooklyn, New York, where are the headquarters. It's really all connected, guys. Anyway, sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm having issues with the computer lately. I have to figure out how to do it next time. I will attach the links down below in the description box. If you choose to support my work, the best way is to become my Patreon member, my local supporter, or donating on PayPal, or you can buy my products. My products are my books. I have written them. I've written 5 books for children. 2 are illustrated already. So you can order it for kids or any kids that you would like to gift it to. Doesn't have to be your family, maybe just other children that you know and you love. I wish they are safe and have no harm in their life ever. So with this being said, lots of love, and remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity, and I see you in another video. Bye everyone.